Good morning, everybody. I want to start by thanking my wife, who's an artist. You can tell she likes sometimes willingly and sometimes unwillingly helping me on my endeavors. I also want to thank U.S. Fish and Wildlife, Oklahoma, for giving me the opportunity to speak, or actually asking me to speak. And I'd like to thank Texas by Nature for giving me the opportunity to speak. So thank you for letting me be here today. I want to start out by letting you know that I've gone through a lot of drastic changes in my life in probably the last 10 years, and my plan and God's plan have never married up, ever. Go ahead, dear. So I've gone from 20 years of doing that to doing this. But thank you. But I enjoy it, and I'll tell you how it correlates. My daughter and I moved back from Alaska after I retired from the Navy in 2007. Her and I moved back to Oklahoma, my hometown, my home farm, in 2010. And when I got there, 30 years ago, this is what it looked like when my grandfather and my grandmother took care of it. And then when I came back, it was inundated with cedar trees. And being frustrated and not knowing, starting from the ground, just like most of other landowners in this room have done, starting from the ground up, I was frustrated looking for people to try to help me, and couldn't figure out how to economically and efficiently get rid of the cedar trees and all the problems that I had on my property. And I was introduced to the U.S. Forestry. I was introduced to NRCS. So these programs are working, and but it's finding the people and getting the people together and getting the dots connected so they can work together. But what I do is this. Back up one slide, dear, please, if you would. This was a piece of property on my 160 acres of land that I have back in Oklahoma that was inundated with cedar trees. Next slide, please. I partnershiped up with Oklahoma State University. This was last summer, and we decided to do a field day burn, and this is the aftermath of what it looked like after the burn was conducted. Going from that, probably somewhere in the middle, I was blessed, again by God, that I had received some money on the farm through pipelines and oil wells, so I took that money, reinvested it, and bought a skid steer and several implements with it. And then the goal was to complete my own property first. And then after I completed my own property, my wife talked me into running my own business. Because if you've ever been in the military and you've ever spent any time in the military, we're pretty hard to lead after we get out. We like being in charge of things. So it worked out real well. My wife's in charge of her business, I'm in charge of my business, and we don't get in each other's way. But that's what I did. I ended up opening this company. I've been in business for about 2 years now, and believe it or not, being blessed again, I've had more work than I could ever dream of. When I finish one property, I've already got 2 other people that's already called me ready to move on to the next property. So I have no complaints. This is usually what property looks like when I'm finished with it and the benefits that come from it. And then I got involved through the U.S. Forestry Service. I was wanting to burn my property because I heard and understood the benefits of it. And I met a gentleman by the name of John Weir at Oklahoma State University in Stillwater, and he introduced me to the Prescribed Burn Association. And that first year, I ended up being the secretary, and the following year, I ended up being the president. So, and there I am today. But it's another one of my passions. And then in closing, this is a picture of my family with the last portion. A good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children, Proverbs 13:22. Thank you.